Shalom, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kal Halayim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harakah Kodash Ma'amah. I want to give a double honor to the elders of GMS and a salutations to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Karaban Yasharala, coming out of the Lions Den camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. And now today I'll be coming out with a lesson, and the title of that lesson is The Heart of Fools, because the heart of fools, the heart of a foolish man and or woman, nothing of benefit comes out of their mouth. You know, the heart of a fool will think they know something and start to speak about something, and they just have no clue about what they're saying. But I ain't gonna do too much talking. I'm gonna just let the scriptures speak for themselves. And without further ado, this is Proverbs chapter 12, verse 23. It says, "A prudent man concealeth knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaimeth foolishness." See, now a prudent man, a wise man will conceal knowledge. A man of wisdom and a man of understanding will retain and hold on to the wisdom that he has. But the heart of a foolish man and or woman, they will proclaim foolishness. They will only speak stupidity. They will only speak contrary to the truth, contrary to righteousness. Let's take an example. The children of Israel being in bondage under Pharaoh and where? Egypt. How did those pyramids get built? A fool would say aliens built those pyramids. When you read the scriptures and you get an understanding, you have an understanding, our people, Yashar Allah, Israel, were in bondage under Pharaoh in Egypt. How do you think those monuments, different things and places like that got built up? Off the backs of Yashar Allah, off slave labor, slave work. That's how the pyramids were built. But a fool would say aliens came down from space and built the pyramids. Continuing. Just to let you know, the heart of a fool proclaimeth foolishness. The heart of a fool cannot put forth wisdom, cannot put forth any understanding. This is Sirach chapter 33, verse 5. It says, the heart of the foolish is like a cartwheel, and his thoughts are like a rolling axle tree. See? The heart of a foolish is like a cartwheel. What does a cartwheel do? Goes round and round and round and round. Continually. And that's the same thing how a fool's heart is. Their heart continually goes round and round and round in foolishness. And they only proclaim foolishness. They only speak about foolishness. Things that are stupid. Things that make no sense. Talk without sense. So the heart of a fool, or the heart of fools, there's nothing wise within them. They will only speak unprofitable words. Continuing. This is Sirach chapter 27, verse 11. It says, the discourse of a godly man is always with wisdom, but a fool changeth as the moon. See, the discourse, the conversation of a godly man is always with wisdom. He's going to always proclaim wisdom. He's always going to show you righteousness, that godly man. But a fool changes as the moon. And if you have any understanding, you know the moon has many different phases. And that's how a fool changes. A fool changes as the moon. One day they talking about one thing and they with one doctrine, and the next minute they with something else. They with that for a while, next minute they with something else. They're never ever stable. As a matter of fact, this is James chapter 1, verse 8. It says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And that's how a fool is. A fool is a double-minded man that is unstable in all his ways. A fool is not solid. A fool doesn't just stick to one thing and hold on, which the main thing to stick to would be the truth and righteousness. A fool will not stick to that. As I said before, a fool is blown with every wind and doctrine. That's how their heart is. One minute they with something else and they hear something new, and then they with that. And then something else coming and they with that. You know, it's just Their heart is like a cartwheel. It just goes round and round and round in foolishness. This is Sirach, same chapter 27, verse 13 though. It says, the discourse of fools is irksome, and their sport is in the wantonness of sin. See, the discourse of fools is irksome. When somebody is foolish, and you know they're foolish, what they start to speak about, their words, their mouth, even the sound of their voice will become irksome. It'll become bothersome. You won't want to hear their mouth because you know they're not talking about anything. It gets aggravating. And that is how fools are. The discourse of a fool is irksome. Their talk, their words is irksome, it's bothersome. They ain't talk about nothing. You don't want to listen. And fools do not understand that either when you don't want to hear their mouth. They just continue to talk and continue to talk and continue to talk. As a matter of fact, this is Sirach chapter 20. It says, a wise man will hold his tongue till he see opportunity, but a babbler and a fool will regard no time. And that's what a babbler and that's what a fool does. A fool is a babbler. They just blah 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 blah, and they will regard no time. A wise man is going to wait till he see an opportunity to be able to speak, and then he will speak. He will show forth his wisdom. But a fool, a babbler, and a fool will regard no time. It don't matter. They just gonna talk, 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 and never ever shut up until you tell them to shut up. This is Sirach 22, verse 13. It says, talk not much with a fool, and go not to him that hath no understanding. Beware of him, lest thou have trouble, and thou shalt never be defiled with his fooleries. Depart from him, and thou shalt find rest, and never be disquieted with madness. See, you don't talk much with a fool. You know somebody is foolish. You know something going on. You know they foolish. You know they don't have no understanding. You don't talk much with them. You don't talk with them because eventually it'll get on your nerves. It'll start to bother you. Don't talk with nobody that don't have any understanding. We all know a fool does not have any wisdom nor understanding of the things that they even speak about when they do talk. It says, beware of him. Pay attention. Beware. Be cautious of a fool. Pay attention. Look out, lest you will have trouble. You start talking to a fool or somebody that's foolish, you're going to have trouble because every time you talk to them and start speaking to them, they're going to be aggravating. It's going to get on your nerves. The hearts of a fool, the discourse of a fool is irksome. Their talk is irksome. It's aggravating. It's bothersome. But lest thou have trouble, and thou shalt never be defiled with his fooleries. Don't be defiled with the fooleries of a fool. Stupid crap that comes out of their face, his or her face. Don't be defiled with it because it is unprofitable talk. It is unprofitable words. It's not going to benefit you. Such as stupid people are like fools like No Class Malone or No Trash Malone. Well, I call him Vo Trash Malone, and all his constituents and other people behind him. Jada Seducer and the rest of them. But continuing, I'm going to start from the top again. Talk not much with a fool, and go not to him that hath no understanding. Beware of him, lest thou have trouble, and thou shalt never be defiled with his fooleries. Depart from him, and thou shalt find rest, and never be disquieted with madness. Depart from a fool. Don't beware. Don't talk with them. Don't talk with nobody that don't have no understanding, because most times when they don't have an understanding of wisdom and of righteousness and some things that common sense, they're a fool. Don't have anything, and beware, pay attention, and don't be defiled with their fooleries. Don't listen to the BS that they're talking about, because it's aggravating. Depart from him, and you shall find rest. Depart from a fool, and you will find rest. You will find rest from his stupidity that is spewing out of his face, out of his la'ab. And you won't be disquieted with his madness. Continuing. This is Sirach chapter 21. I'm going to start up at verse 14. It says, the inner parts of a fool are like a broken vessel, and he will hold no knowledge as long as he liveth. See, the inner parts of a fool is like a broken vessel. He will hold no knowledge as long as he live. A fool ain't gonna retain the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. Hell, a fool ain't even to retain the wisdom of this life, of this world, or the common sense of this world. A fool won't even retain that. A fool won't retain the truth. It's like pouring new wine in an old bottle. That new wine is going to burst that old bottle because that old bottle is not prepared to receive that new wine. And that's the same thing with the hearts of a fool. Their mind is not equipped to retain wisdom. Their mind is not equipped to accept wisdom within them. Verse 15, it says, if a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it and add unto it. This is, but as soon as one of no understanding heareth it, it displeaseth him, and he casteth it behind his back. A skillful man, a wise man will hear a wise word. He's going to commend that word. He's going to honor that word. He's going to respect that word, and he's going to continue to build upon that word. But as soon as one of no understanding, a fool, hear the word, hear wisdom, hear the truth, it displeases them, and they take that same thing and throw it behind them and be like, oh, I don't need that. I don't want to hear that. And that's how 2/3 of Yasharala is right now to this day. They don't want to hear it. This wisdom is being put out on a mass scale all around the four corners of the earth through the power and spirit of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, and they don't want to hear the men of the Lord that the Heavenly Father has set up to bring forth this wisdom. Our people are the only people that know everything and still dumb as hell. How you know everything is still stupid? That's how fools get on, though. That's how fools are. Fools are the only ones who know everything but still stupid. If you know everything, how is it that you're still foolish? How is it that your talk is irksome? How is it that you are still speaking unprofitable words? Continuing. Verse 18 of Sirach 21. As is a house that is destroyed, so is wisdom to a fool. See, as is a house that is destroyed, so is wisdom to a fool. Wisdom will destroy a fool. Another, going back, new wine in old bottles. That old bottle is gonna burst. It's not gonna be able to hold that new wine. That's the same thing. That's how foolish people. That's what the heart of a fool is. You can't pour wisdom into a fool. You can't pour that new wine in that old bottle because that old bottle is gonna break. If you go up to verse 14, it says the inner parts of a fool are like a broken vessel. They will hold no knowledge as long as he liveth. And that's exactly how our people are. That's exactly how a fool get on. As is a house that is destroyed, so is wisdom to a fool. And the knowledge of the unwise is as talk without sense. And a fool is unwise, and his talk is without sense, especially when they call themselves trying to break down the scriptures of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. Their talk is without sense. They don't make no sense when they try to bring out the word of the Most High. This is Sirach chapter 20, verse 13. It says, a wise man by his words maketh himself beloved, but the graces of a fool shall be poured out. See, a wise man by his words maketh himself beloved, maketh himself loved, maketh himself liked or known. This is, but the graces of a fool shall be poured out. The graces of a fool, the inner conscience of a fool's mind is going to be poured out. You're going to see that, okay, yeah, you're not really profitable. I can't listen to you. Verse 8 of Sirach 20. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, Salaki, for that, but this is verse 8. It says, he that useth many words shall be abhorred, and he that taketh to himself authority therein shall be hated. He that useth many words. Don't a fool use many words to try to sound good, try to sound eloquent, try to sound like they know something? And it says, and he that taketh to himself authority therein shall be hated. And the fool will take to himself the authority to think that he can bring forth wisdom. But in that, and in doing those things, a fool will be abhorred and a fool will be hated. He will be disliked eventually. Continuing. This is verse 5 of Sirach 20. It says, there is one that keepeth silence and is found wise, and another by much babbling becometh hateful. See, there is one that keepeth silence. The one that keeps silence is that wise man who wait till he see an opportunity to speak. It says, and another by much babbling becometh hateful. See, a fool will babble much. Blah, 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 blah. And eventually in that, they'll become hateful. Nobody want to listen to them. They'll become aggravating. Their discourse is irksome. They'll become hated. Continuing. This is Sirach 19, verse 11. It says, a fool travaileth with a word as a woman in labor of a child. See, a fool is going to travail with the word. He's going to have trouble with wisdom, with knowledge, with understanding, with truth. Hell, a fool is going to have problems with a single word that he reads. He's going to travail. He's going to fight with that word all day as a woman that's in labor with a child. That word is going to pain him. It's going to cause him all kind of problems. But that's how a fool get down. That's how the hearts of fools are. Verse 12, as an arrow that sticketh in a man's belly, Salakia, as an arrow that sticketh in a man's thigh, so is a word within a fool's belly. See, as an arrow that sticks in a man's thigh, so is a word, a wise word within the fool's belly. This wisdom is going to hurt a fool. The hearts of fools, they cannot retain the wisdom. They wrestle with this wisdom. They hear a word of it and they wrestle with it. They fight with it. Continuing. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 5. It says, it is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. It is better to hear the rebuke of somebody that's wise, that's full of wisdom, to correct you, than for you to hear the song of a fool, because a fool, they don't talk about anything. A fool gonna encourage you to stay in your folly. They're not gonna tell you, hey, no, what you're doing ain't right. You need to correct what you're doing. You need to let whatever you holding on to, let it go, because it's no benefit. A fool not gonna tell you anything wise. This is Ecclesiastes 10, verse 3. It says, yea, also when he that is a fool walketh by the way, his wisdom faileth him. And he saith to everyone that he is a fool. See, when a fool walketh by the way, when a fool walketh by the way of wisdom, knowledge and understanding, his la'ab, his mind is going to fail him. And when he starts to speak and open his mouth, everyone that is watching or listening to him is going to find out that he is a fool. He's going to basically let everybody know that he is a fool. Verse 12. I'm going to jump down to verse 12. It says, the words of a wise man's mouth are gracious, but the lips of a fool will swallow himself up. See, the words of a wise man is gracious. The words of a wise man are beneficial. It says, but the lips of a fool will swallow up himself. See, the lips of a fool is going to cause him to get into all kind of manner of troubles and destruction and punishment. They're going to get swallowed up because they ain't speaking nothing that's profitable or worth listening to. Verse 13. The beginning of the words of his mouth is foolishness, and the end of his talk is mischievous madness. See, the beginning of the words of a fool, their mouth is foolishness, and the end of his talk or her talk is mischievous madness. It's stupidity. It is not beneficial. That's how the heart, that is what the heart of a fool is. That's why the title of this lesson is The Heart of Fools, because the heart of a fool, they proclaimeth foolishness. Continuing. Last verse. It says, a fool also is full of words. A man cannot tell what shall be, and what shall be after him. Who can tell him? See, a fool is full of words. They just talk all day, every day. You can't tell this fool, you know what I'm saying, what's going to happen or what is going to be after him. You can't tell him. Who can tell him? But this was just a lesson. Kind of went longer than what I thought it was going to go, but nonetheless, the heart of fools proclaimeth foolishness. The hearts of fools is of no profit to listen to. Shalom.